Day 636 of doing a LeetCode problem every day until I get a job. All right, y'all, we're back again. Another day, another LeetCode problem where we're doing daily LeetCode problems. And today we have question number 2164, sort even and odd indices independently. The difficulty level is easy, so you already know we're going to keep the solution as simple and easy to understand as well. But before we get started, y'all, don't forget to like, hype, subscribe, comment, and share. And if you need any new Apple AirPods, go ahead and check out that link in the description so you can get you some. Now let's see what the question says. You are given a zero-index integer array nums. Rearrange the values of nums according to the following rules. Sort the values at odd indices of nums in non-increasing order. For example, if nums equals an array of integers 4, 1, 2, and 3 before this step, it becomes 4, 3, 2, 1 after. The values at odd indices 1 and 3 are sorted in non-increasing order. Sort the 2. The rule number 2 is sort the values at even indices of nums in non-decreasing order. For example, if nums equals an array of integers 4, 1, 2, 3 before this step, it becomes 2, 1, 4, 3 after. The values at even indices 0 and 2 are sorted in non-decreasing order. Return the array formed after rearranging the values of nums. Alright, y'all, so that may seem simple at first, but let's go ahead and take a look at these examples just to make sure that we are doing this problem correctly. So, in example 1, we have our input nums equals an array of integers 4, 1, 2, 3. The output is 2, 3, 4, 1. So what they did here, let's take a look at the explanation to see. It says, first we sort the values present at odd indices 1 and 3 in non-increasing order. So right now we have 1 at indice, in our input we have 1 at indice 1 and 3 at indice 3, right? We need to sort them in non-increasing order, meaning just decreasing order. So if you look at the output, you can see now they're in decreasing order or non-increasing order, right? It goes 3 and then 1, meaning it's decreasing or not increasing, right? So that's all they did was make sure they took the elements from these odd indices and they changed them so that they are now in non-decreasing order, right? Or excuse me, right here it goes 3 to 1. Boom. Now we need to make sure that the even elements are in non-decreasing order or in increasing order, right? So this 4 becomes a 2, and this 2 becomes, this 2 right here becomes a 4, right? Once we make it in non-decreasing order or increasing order. So it says right here, next we sort the values present at indices 0 and 2, which is this 2 at index 0, or excuse me, which is this 4 at index 0 and this 2 at index 2 in non-decreasing order. So nums change from 4, 1, 2, 3 to 2, 3, 4, 1. Thus, the array formed after rearranging the values is 2, 3, 4, 1. So all we did was go to the odd indices right here, and we sorted them in non-increasing order or decreasing order. Decreasing order. So every odd indice should be less. Every odd indice should be less than the one before, right? Just like this one is less than 3. Similarly, for the evens, we're going to sort them in non-decreasing order or increasing order, right? So that means for every even indice, the next element should be larger than the one before, right? So right here is 2, then the next element was 4. And once again, with the odds, every element should be lower than the last one, right? So this was 3, and now this is 1. Boom. So just in case that didn't make sense, let's take a look at example 2 where they may try to throw a trick question our way where the array is already sorted. So in example 2, our input nums equals an array of integers 2, 1. The output is 2, 1. Explanation says since there's exactly one odd index and one even index, no rearrangement of values takes place. The resultant array formed is an array of integers 2, 1, which is the same as the initial array. So with this one, we didn't have to change anything. We only have 2 indices, one even indice, one odd indice. They're already sorted, or we don't need to sort any further, so we could just return the array as is. So boom, y'all. Now that we understand the question, let's get into the fun part, the actual solution. Y'all, solution is not that difficult. Now the first thing we need to do is we need to create an array to store the elements from the odd indices. So we'll come right here, declare a variable called odd, and we'll just set that equal to an array of integers. Come outside that and initialize it with parentheses like that. Now we need to do the same thing and create an array to store elements from even indices. So we can declare a variable called even, and we'll set that equal to an array of integers as well and initialize it with the parentheses like so. Now we need to create our result array to store the final reordered elements or our output. So we could just come right here, declare a variable called ands, and once again that will be equal to an array of integers. Don't forget the parentheses. Boom. Now we need to iterate through the array with the index and the element. So we're going to say for, open up the parentheses, I, comma, elm for element. So I for index, elm for element. We're going to say in nums dot enumerated. So this enumerated is going to get us the index and the element, right? So it'll return index. I will be 0, elm will be 4, right? And this would be I would be 1, elm would be 1, and so on and so on. Boom. Then we come right here and we need to open up the brackets. Boom. Now we need to see if index is even, then we're going to add the element to the even array. So we could say if I mod 2 equals 0. So what this does, if I is divided by 2 and has 0 remainders, so if the remainder equals 0, then we can open up the brackets and we'll say even dot append, open up the parentheses, pass in elm. Then if index is odd, we need to add an odd element to the array. So we come right here and we say else, open up the brackets, odd dot append, open up the parentheses, elm. Boom. And then we're going to sort the odd index elements in decreasing order. So we'll come right here and we'll say odd dot sort, open up the parentheses by colon, and put the greater than sign. Then we're going to sort the even index elements in ascending order by saying even dot sort, open up the parentheses by colon, put the less than sign. Boom. Now we need to determine the maximum count between odd and even arrays. So we'll come underneath this, say let count equals square bracket odd dot count, comma, even dot count. Boom. Come outside of that, we'll say dot max, put the parentheses in the exclamation point. Now we need to rebuild the array by alternating even and odd elements. So we're going to come underneath this and say for I in 0 dot dot less than count. We're going to open up the brackets and we're going to append even elements if it exists at an index I. So we'll say if even dot count minus 1 is greater than or equal to I, then we'll open up the brackets and we'll say ands dot append, open up the parentheses, even square bracket I. Boom. And then we need to append the odd element if it exists at index I. So we come underneath this and we'll say if odd dot count minus 1 is greater than or equal to I, we're going to open up the brackets and say ands dot append, open up the parentheses, odd square bracket I. Boom. Then we need to return the final sorted array by coming right here and say return ands, y'all. Boom. That's all she wrote. Let's give it a run. Make sure it runs properly before we submit it. It's accepted, so let's go ahead and submit it. Make sure it's still accepted after we submit it. Boom, y'all, look at that. 0 milliseconds beats 100% of users. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I like to see, y'all. So with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today. Or before we go, make sure you get one more look at the code. This is the top part. This is the bottom part. And yeah, y'all, with that being said, I hope y'all learned something today, and I hope to see y'all here tomorrow for another day, another LeetCode problem. See y'all then.